Good morning, children. This video is the first part of the chapter 4th, Atomic Structure and Chemical Bonding. So let's start. First topic, Introduction of Atomic Structure. We know that matter means anything which has mass and occupies space called matter. There are three states of matter: solid, liquid and gas, and all the three states of matter made by the atoms. Atoms are the building blocks of the matter. And now here the concept of atom was originated by the ancient Greek philosopher Democritus. Democritus studied the nature of matter. Democritus also stated that matter consists of indivisible particles called atomos. Atomos means indivisible. Atomos means indivisible. And after the Democritus, Dalton had in 1808, Dalton had given the famous atomic theory that is called the Dalton's atomic theory. There are some postulates of the Dalton atomic theory are as: first, matter consists of smallest indivisible particles called atoms. Second, atoms can neither be created nor destroyed. Third, atoms of the same element are alike in all the respects, and these differ from the atoms of other elements. And next point, atoms combine in the simple whole number ratios. For example, if we take sodium chloride, so one atom of sodium combined with the one atom of chlorine. So here the ratio is 1:1. Next, atoms take part in the chemical reaction. So these are the postulates of the Dalton atomic theory. And next, now here there are some contradiction between the Dalton's atomic theory and the modern atomic theory. Dalton atomic theory, there are some contradiction between the Dalton atomic theory and modern atomic theory. Because the Dalton said atoms are indivisible and indestructible. But according to the modern atomic theory, atoms are divisible, because we know that there are three subatomic particles: electrons, protons and neutrons. These are the fundamental particles of an atom. So we can say atom is divisible and destructible. And the second, Dalton said atoms of the same element are alike in all the respect, means same in all the respect. Meaning means, suppose that if we take one piece of the iron foil, so all the atoms of iron only, in all the respect, all the atoms are same in all the respect, no any change. So atoms of the element are same, means here we can say atoms of the same element are alike in all the respect, means same in all the respect, no any change, same atomic number, same mass number, same size, all the things are same. But here, according to the modern concept, this is not true in case of isotopic forms of the element. This is not true for the isotopic forms of the element. Because if we take the isotopes of the element, for example carbon, suppose that if we take the carbon, so there are three states of the carbon: carbon 12, carbon 13 and carbon 14. Same element. These are the carbon atoms. Atomic number 6. But here the mass number changed. Here the mass number 12 and here 13 and here 14. So this is the reason here atoms are not alike, because here the mass number changed. So we can say atoms are not alike in the isotopic form of the element. Means in the case of the isotopic form of the element, this is not true. So these are the different, because here the mass number changed. These are different. So in this case, this is the contradiction between the Dalton atomic theory and modern atomic theory. The first contradiction, that Dalton said that atoms are indivisible and indestructible. According to the modern concept, modern atomic theory, atoms are divisible and destructible. And the second, atoms of the same element are alike in all the respect, means same in all the respect. But this is not true according to the modern concept, modern atomic theory. This is not true in case of isotopic forms of the element. Next, we will study the subatomic particles, discovery of the subatomic particles, electrons, protons and neutrons. These are the subatomic particles of an atom. So here the first, discovery of electrons. So in the discovery of electrons, one scientist, William Crookes performed one experiment, and this experiment is called the cathode ray discharge tube experiment. In this experiment, in 1878, William Crookes performed experiment and this experiment is called the cathode ray discharge tube experiment. In this experiment, he had taken the cathode ray tube. This cathode ray tube made by the glass, and here two metallic electrodes inserted inside the cathode ray tube, one at each end of the cathode ray tube. And if the electrode connected by the negative terminal of the voltage source, that is battery here, this electrode connected by the negative terminal of the voltage source, so this is called the cathode. And if the electrode connected by the positive terminal of the voltage source, this is called the anode. And here one vacuum pump outlet here, means from this vacuum, from this tube we can release the air, means we will release the air, the scientists release the air from the tube. And this mostly change into the vacuum form, means very little amount of the gas present inside this. So gas means air released from this tube with the help of the vacuum pump, and very little amount of the gas present inside this, and the pressure of this gas is equal to 0.01 mm of Hg, mm of mercury. So this is the pressure of the gas that is present inside the tube. Very little amount of the gas present, and here the pressure is also very less, 0.01 mm of Hg. And he applied the high voltage between the two electrodes, and due to this electric discharge occur, and due to the electric discharge luminous rays emitted from the cathode, blue rays emitted from the cathode, and these blue rays went towards the anode. So rays emitted from the cathode and went towards the anode. And these rays originated, means emitted from the cathode. So these rays we can say cathode rays. Cathode rays, because these rays coming from the cathode plate, cathode electrode. So we can say cathode rays. And after this experiment, in 1897, J.J. Thomson studied the characteristics of the cathode ray and the constituents of the cathode ray. So he had given some characteristics of cathode rays. The first, J.J. Thomson said that cathode rays travel in straight path. Straight path means travel in straight lines. And the second, he said that deflected by electric and magnetic field. Deflected by electric and magnetic field. And the third, these rays having the kinetic energy. So these are the three main characteristics of the cathode ray. So cathode rays travel in straight path, means in straight lines. These rays deflected by electric and magnetic field, and the third, these rays having the kinetic energy. So in this way, here travel in straight path. These rays move in straight path. So here we can confirm this if we keep any object, in the path of the cathode ray, so these rays cast a shadow of the particular object on the wall of the cathode ray tube. These rays cast a shadow of the particular object on the wall of the cathode ray tube, and this shows that these rays move in straight path. Second, deflected by electric and magnetic field. So here we know that here according to the rays means J.J. Thomson also concluded that the rays emitted from the cathode and went towards the anode. So due to this, these rays made by the negative charge particles, and these negative charge particles are called electrons. So J.J. Thomson said that because the rays coming from the cathode and went towards the anode, so in this way here these rays made by the negative charge, because anode is positive, this is positive, and cathode negative. So these rays went towards the anode, means attraction. We know that opposite charge attract with each other and the negative charge repel from each other. So in this way these are attracted by the anode, means these rays went towards the anode, means we can say these rays made by the negative charge particles, and these negative charge particles are called electrons. So due to this deflected by electric and magnetic field, so here J.J. Thomson kept the electric and magnetic field, applied the electric and magnetic field near the cathode ray tube. So he had seen these rays deflected towards the positive field. These rays deflected towards the positive field, because these rays made by the negative charge particle. These rays made by the negative charge particle, and due to the opposite charge, these attracted by the opposite charge. These rays deflected towards the positive charge, means attracted by the positive charge. So this is the reason for the deflection. And the third, kinetic energy. So these rays having the kinetic energy, and he kept, means also we can take, if we keep one metallic object in the path of the cathode ray, so this metallic object become hot. If we keep the metallic object in the path of the cathode ray, so this metallic object become hot. So this shows that these rays having the kinetic energy. And also we can take the another example here. If we keep the pinwheel fan, means very small fan, pinwheel fan. So this pinwheel fan set in motion. So this pinwheel fan set in motion. This move, the blades of this move, pins move, set in motion. So due to this, here we can say these rays having the kinetic energy. And also the J.J. Thomson had given the E/M ratio of electron. E/M ratio of electron means charge by mass. E/M ratio of electron means charge by mass ratio. So here he had given the value 1.78 into 10 to the power 8 coulomb per gram. Coulomb means this is the unit of charge. So he had given the E by M ratio of electron that charge by mass, E means charge and M means mass. Charge by mass ratio 1.78 into 10 to the power 8 coulomb per gram. And after this, the electron charge value determined, that is electron charge value (1.6 into 10 to the power minus 19 coulomb). This is the electron charge value 1.6 into 10 to the power minus 19 coulomb. And the electron mass value is equal to 9.1 into 10 to the power minus 31 kg. 9.1 into 10 to the power minus 31 kg. And also we can write in the gram, that is 9.1 into 10 to the power minus 28 gram. So these are the informations for the electron, and after this the credit for the discovery of electrons goes to J.J. Thomson. J.J. Thomson was the discoverer of electron because he had given the properties of the cathode ray, and also he confirmed that the cathode ray is made by the negative charge particles, and these negative charge particles are called electrons. So J.J. Thomson was the discoverer of the electron. Means we can say J.J. Thomson discovered the electrons. And William Crookes discovered the cathode rays. William Crookes discovered the cathode rays, and J.J. Thomson discovered the electrons. So this topic over. Thank you. Have a nice day.